I used to be a beginner too, and especially that first time you grab those Tombow brush pens, it can be a little bit hard. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 5 ways that you can use the Tombow brush pens inside of your bullet journal. We'll also talk about why they're so popular, go over some tips and tricks around blending, and also doing some brush lettering. As an Archer and Olive design team member, I really appreciate the other content that the design team is making. So make sure you do too by hitting that subscribe button below, and also don't forget to tap that bell so you can be notified when we have new content for you. My name is Mark from Men Who Bullet, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, and I decided to cover this topic today because there's a lot of different ways that you can use these pens. You can use them for hand lettering, you can even watercolor with them, and I'm also going to show you how to create some really quick headers and use these in some really fun ways. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to cover as a part of this is how to use the Tombow brush pens as actual brush pens. So as I mentioned before, they have 2 sides to each one of these pens. On the front here, in the top, is the actual brush pen itself, and it's very flexible, so it has a lot of give. It's not very hard, but it's also not too soft that it's really going to kind of instantly like smash on the page and go through. So these are really wonderful for actually learning how to brush letter or do calligraphy. And then on the other side is more of a bullet tip. So this is going to give you that single line as you're working. You can use this actually for faux calligraphy if you wanted to, and I'll cover both of those relatively quickly as we go through this. So let's go ahead, first start with the brush side of this. So if you're familiar with calligraphy, then you'll know the basic brushes for this, but if you've never used a brush pen before or ever done calligraphy, that's totally okay, because we're all learning as we're going through this process. So what I'll teach you real quick is a really easy just maneuver that you would do with your hands. And I'm a lefty, so it's really important for me to make sure that I'm giving myself enough space, but whether you're left-handed or right-handed, this can work for you. The most important thing to remember about it is that when you are doing an upstroke, you're going to just keep it nice and thin. And when you're doing a downstroke, you're going to put that pressure on that pen. So your upstrokes are going to be nice and thin, and then your downstrokes are going to be thicker. So when I write a letter like hello, for instance, like H's are one of my favorite things to draw, you go up thin, and then you press down, up thin, and press down again as you go through. And the best thing to do at the end here, just something I've learned, is a little bit of like a flick at the end. So I'm going up thin, down, up thin, down heavy, and like a flick. And that way I can then connect my next letter. But you can easily write your name, you can write headers, you can do anything along the lines of that by using your brush pen, just as easily as writing Tuesday, for instance. So I would go down with my brush stroke heavy, up thin, down heavy, up thin, down heavy with a flick. Then for the other side, if you want to just use the bullet side of this and write normal, I'll teach you a real quick trick on how to do faux calligraphy. So faux calligraphy follows the same exact rules, but you're just going to add an extra downstroke and then fill it in instead. So I'll do the same word hello. So I'm just going to use the bullet side so it all look nice and easy, and I'm just going to do it in cursive as I did it before using those same letters. Now, anywhere where you went on a downstroke, you're just going to draw a line and then fill it in. And that gives you that look of the calligraphy with the light and the dark pools. So we would go up thin, down with that heavy stroke, fill it in. I also like this because it helps you create that muscle memory too as you're writing out your letters. And it creates a really cool faux calligraphy look without having to worry too much about the brush pen side of this. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna go through is actually using the same lettering technique, but I'm going to show you how to create gradients utilizing these markers. So to do that, I'm actually going to take 2 different colors here. I'm going to have a lighter color, and then I'm going to go with a darker color. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually use let's go with the lighter color first here, and I'm going to write out the day. Let's do Thursday. As I'm doing this, let me know in the comments below if you own any of the Tombow brush pens. I'm curious about your experience with them. It's nice and bright. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the darker color and we're just going to real quick draw on those downstrokes. What's amazing about the Tombow brush pens is that they're self-cleaning. So what that means is I'm going to take this yellow and I'm just going to keep pulling it down to bring that darker color in here. And then I don't have to worry about washing this because all I'll have to do is take a paper towel or a scrap piece of paper and you'll see as the gradient starts to go away. There you go. Now, as you can see, I do have some of that extra orange on top of here. So if I wanted to go and use it, I could. And you'll see that it already has that. But usually what I'm doing is I'm just cleaning off my brush and I'll just keep using it until you'll see slowly that the full yellow color comes back. There's another trick that you can use for doing this as well, and you're going to use a piece of like cellophane, or some of the Tombow brush pens actually come with a mixing kit on top of it. I'm actually going to use the one from the acrylograph pens because it's made out of the general same material. You want something that's shiny, that's not porous at all. And I'm just going to use the back piece of this paper to do the same exact thing. So for that, what I'm going to do on top of my blending palette is I'm going to put out a whole bunch of this color here. Now, because these are water-based, I can do a lot with the Tombow brush pens using this method here. I can go in with my lighter color and I can pick up that, right, and get some of that really cool gradient color here. Or if you want, a lot of the pen kits come with this clear one here, which is your mixing pen. So that way you can pick up your color and pick up a lot of that. And again, because it's self-cleaning, as you use it, you'll see it'll start to go back to clear. I personally like using the pen with the actual pen here instead of that blender. That's just my own personal preference there, but you get some really cool looking letters doing it this way. All right, the next technique that I'm gonna show you is actually using the Tombow brush pens for watercolor. So as I mentioned, because they are a water-based product, you can mix them with water and create some amazing looking pieces here. So I'm going to do a very similar thing, but without letters this time, and I'm just going to put out a handful of colors here for myself. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to do a real quick, let's just say I draw like a quick mountain, for instance. Okay, and I'm gonna go back over there with a black pen, but what I would do first, you can take a paintbrush or you can take just one of the water pens that you can get, and you're just gonna put out a little bit of water on top of here. Okay, and then what you can do is you can just pick up that color the same way you would with watercolor and go right over top of your paper. And there you go, that's using the Tombow brush pens with a watercolor pen or a watercolor brush with some water to create a really cool watercolor effect using those brushes. All right, the next thing that I'm gonna do here is I'm actually going to use a plastic bag and I'm going to take the watercolor and I'm going to put it on here and I'm gonna create a really cool background here for my paper. So this is something else that you can do with those Tombow pens and water, is just take the colors and mix them up and you're just gonna put them on top of a plastic bag. It can be any type of plastic bag or cellophane, whatever you want, you can add. And if, in this case, I didn't have any of my colors out, you could actually go right in with your actual marker and draw right on here. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take some washi here and I'm just gonna lay out a straight line just to show you how you can block off space using washi and then go right over top of it with this method to create some really cool backgrounds. This would actually work out wonderfully if you were setting up some headers for yourself. So we'll go ahead and take that, and what we're gonna do is take our plastic bag and flip it over, and we're just gonna press around on here to mix some of that color up. Right. Then I can go ahead and pull that up, and I'd let that dry for just a second, and then I could just go ahead and peel off the washi tape which would leave that space there. And I could do a few things with this if I wanted to. I could just create a really cool header if I wanted to, or doodle over top of this and make it look really neat. Let's create a cool looking summer vibe since we're using these colors here, and we'll just write summer with the brush pen. So a really nice and easy way to create some cool headers and pieces inside of your bullet journal. The last thing that I'm going to show you is probably the easiest thing that you can do with your Tombow brush pens, and this is what I actually use the Tombow brush pens for the absolute most. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a box here, and this box could be for anything. This could be for your headers of your pages, this could be for an entire box for your task or to do inside of your bullet journal, or this could be just something inside of your planner. All I'm going to do is draw this space here, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the center with a day of a week. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this light gray Tombow that I have here. It's probably, well, you can see that it's extremely well used. And all I'm going to do is just draw a drop shadow underneath this box on the bottom and up the side. And what's really great about the Tombow brush pens is that if you want to, you can layer them on top of each other. So if this light gray was too light for me, I wanted it to come out a bit more, I would just go over it a second time with the same brush pen to create a really cool drop shadow on my box. Now that you know some fun and creative ways to use these Tombow brush pens, I'm sure you're eager to get started and learn more. Our design team has an awesome list of content over on the Archer and Olive blog. You can find that link in the descriptions below. While you're there, check out the amazing Club A&O content. This is a paid service that Archer and Olive has for subscribers. You'll get exclusive content and printables designed for you straight from the design team. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Men Who Bullet on Instagram and YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe to Archer and Olive's channel right here, and also tap that bell so we can let you know when we have more content coming up. And I've got some videos here at the end for you that I think you're gonna like.